up from F5, where they just had a perfect synergy of abilities. This is a whole new ball game, however, but of course there is already 1 point in the side of Vega's court. It's a best of 3. If you want to know about the tournament, all the details for it, head yourself over to joindota.com, click on the little coverage thing that's there, and you'll find the grid for the qualifiers all available for you. The winner of this series will play in our second series tomorrow. That'll be happening at 15 CET. We've got a whole bunch of games tomorrow. In fact, starting at 2 o'clock, will be VP going up against DX, then the winner of this game up against Imperial, and then wrapping up tomorrow evening will be AF going up against Team Liquid, not to mention all the American games which are also coming your way. Those games, if you want to see the details, they're at exactly the same location. You literally don't have to go anywhere to find that kind of stuff. But I'm having a quick check of anyway to see what games are scheduled for tonight. It looks like we're actually starting off with TF versus TDD, and then we're going to be wrapping up the evening with something else a little bit earlier on the morning, which is on the 2nd. It is NP. NP actually have a game. All right, so Team NP will be playing up against Elite Revenge. That will be the second game of the night. So if you want to stay tuned for some American Dota, if you don't know who Elite Revenge is Jenkins and the boys. So Monib, Jenkins, Wu Dota, Bloody Nine, New Sham, as well as Sick, who was the captain. They are the boys who'll be playing later on this evening. So ESL One streaming out every single night this week, apart from Friday night. I think we actually have an off night on Friday night, but that's just so we schedule in the final matches. So we finish the entire qualifiers within the space of 1 week. That's the beauty of a single elimination. It doesn't take us long to get through. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge might be the reason why it's been done in Boston, so the event doesn't drag on too long. Into the game we go. So we start off with the bands. No OD this time around. Fantastic.Five were the ones wielding it in the last game. They won't be allowed through. Batrider, also a hero we saw a hell of a lot through the Boston qualifiers. But he won't be allowed through, same with the Omnat as well as ST. So nothing too unusual with the bands early on. Slaughter first pick is... For the CIS teams, it's not as unusual. There's been a hell of a lot of support Slaughter. We've actually been seeing Darkseer off lane with a roaming Slaughter, and FNG does this. So this will more than likely actually be a 4-position Slaughter, unless they want to change their minds on this. And FNG is very, very aggressive. So he relies on his support heroes. He relies on getting a very early arcane boots on the Darkseer, and they just keep giving him the mana so he can just run in and crush. Pulls back out, regenerates back up again, and then goes back in and does the same thing. And doesn't stay on one lane for too long. It's a very heavy focus on rotation thing when FNG plays the Slaughter. You could still play him in the third role, but we've also been seeing a lot of Slaughters who go into that role not having a great deal of success, primarily because the supports we've been seeing pick up more frequently of late. Things like the ST really just catch him out of position. Then it's too easy to kill him off when he tries to escape. He turns on sprint. Like you look at like the Luna combinations, like the Luna SD, which we saw plaguing all of the European matches recently. Like you disrupt up once, you put the catcher on him, and then a Lucent Beam with a little bit of poison damage, and that Slaughter's dead. There's no way to get around it. And there's no so Slaughter's gonna say, I'm gonna contest you in the lane. It doesn't really happen either. But it brings in something which... Ooh. Still potentially 4-position Slaughter. Still potentially, and a 5-position disruptor. But it makes Fantastic.Five as well as myself think just exactly what they're doing, because they're allowing Fantastic.Five if they want to counterpick them. I mean, block to ban against what they're gonna do. The Slaughter normally works because you have like the bonus damage coming out from the Iron Shell. FNG did run it before without the Darkseer in combination. But I'm interested to see like how he approaches that. Okay, so you take out. This is obviously a fantastic hero up against the Juggernaut. Very difficult to harass him out of lane. Popular hero for CIS at the moment, so yeah, nothing unusual with the ban. Like if the Juggernaut wasn't picked up, I'd be like questioning it a little bit more. It's like, are they just trying to predict Vega's laning? Get the live stealer as well. All right, so they're trying to remove the really difficult cores of Vega Squadron, the ones that would be able to outlast either an Omni Slash or in fact completely dodge the Omni Slash with an Infest maneuver. Keeps Fantastic.Five's lanes pretty solid. Like Urga can see him rotate into the mid to help out whoever's going to be there. The Juggernaut can even go mid himself if you want to go for an early PMS and have the Ogre support him. Have to see how the lanes roll out in the mid. By Vega's initial 2 pickups, you would lean towards the line saying they're just going to have a solo person in the mid. Like they're not looking to have any kind of extra support. Slider will rotate in to be that kind of support, but it's not like we've seen previously where it's like these 2 guys in mid and a Magnus pickup. Okay, melee mid, Vega. Do you want to pull out your DK? Actually going to pull out a Mirana. I'm still okay with that. Mirana's got some really good magical burst damage. Not the most instant setup to work up against the Magnus, but definitely going to give him a run for his money. Keeps a good distance game going, so Magnus getting a good RP off in this game would be difficult, to say the least. Because the more range cores you got, the better it's going to be.
5 seconds remaining.
They could also run that Mirana as a support role, but I'm still leaning towards the Slaughter 4. Mirana 2, Disruptor 5, and a question mark at the last 2. So we need a good rotating offlaner, someone that can deal well with the Magnus. Fantastic.Five just either need their offlaner now or a support. Potentially the Magnus could be pushed to the offlane, but it seemed to be more of the common thing to have a Magnus mid and have more buff ups.
Winter Wyvern.
Alright, Fantastic.Five's Winter Wyvern. A lot of teamfight control. A little bit of counterintuitive though with the Winter Wyvern. Because you throw the ulti down for Winter Wyvern, I think then Magnus would have to follow through. That seems to be
10 seconds remaining.
The synergy they're looking for there. And then the Juggernaut, if he has him power up, Omni slash him up, and then they're all dead. But they still kind of like that would rely Winter Wyvern to catch Vega out of position for that to be the setup. But all other times it's got to be the Magnus blinking in, because they don't have any other jump initiator. Like it's going to be the Magnus. But that's what we're looking for Fantastic.Five's last hero. So we assume Juggernaut safe, Magnus mid. That could be changed by putting Magnus to the off lane, but it's a very dangerous thing to do up against a support disruptor. Magnus' skewer is no issue for disruptor to counter. Second level up in Glimpse, you drag him straight back in again. We don't know who is going to be the safe laner for Vega. They could look for burst damage, they could look for survivability. They got enough magical pop, they probably won't be too worried about Cold Embrace. Both the Ursa and the Lifestealer could have caused a lot of problems for Fantastic.Five. Like they start the combo, they don't instantly get the kill, and then Ursa enrages and just swipes them all down. Or Lifestealer, one of the biggest abilities we saw him use during the entire quals was no, there's that Darkseer. Okay, so yeah, it is a 4-position slaughter. Yeah, it was open wounds. Open wounds regenerate so much life for the entire team that the sustain is unbelievably good. Unbelievably good. So understandable. He'll be removed. So Vega Squadron.
5 seconds.
How do you want to wrap this one up with with your safe laner? I think would have been a nice pick. I was actually wondering if they get a little bit greedy here and they go for something which is a little bit more. I was thinking PA would be a nice little choice for them to go. But they also, they've got jump, they've got counterpull. It's a really stable, safe laner.
5 seconds remaining.
That's all they really need. Like, nothing too flashy. PA is flashy. Works really nicely in the way where I'm like, you can get the slider and the PA to both jump in with Iron Shells on, and they're going to burn through whoever is there. That's their upside. The range harassment's also there from the PA, even if her Stifling Dagger range got nerfed a little bit. And they actually banned the PA themselves, so fantastic. Wait, hang on, if they're doing that, then this is Vega. That Jug is mid and the Mag is off lane. Oh, you know, I said stable safe laner. That's pretty up there. that's very much up there. Doesn't even have to worry too much about comboing with Darkseer, because the Slaughter does that for him, so does the Disruptor. So the Anti-Mage just needs to get a good timing on the Battle Fury, and the rest of Vega will create space for him. This is the beauty of the way Vega do this draft. The FNG, just moves wherever the hell he wants to with the Slaughter.
Time.
So Fantastic.Five, their final pickup, so they had no PA. PA potentially could have gone the mid, but the PA would have been a nice physical way to get through the anti-mage. And then your late game isn't secured when you have that. But Fantastic.Five still need a good... their combos are fine. Just wondering, I think Disable is what they need to buff up on. Someone that can actually like silence, control the anti-mage. Not just relying on the Magnus RP. Because at that point, like Ogre, you're not going to rely on his stuns to say, oh, I'm definitely going to multicast to get this guy down. That's not going to happen. So they need a really good offlaner with lockdown, or you push the Magnus to the offlane and switch up the mid against the Mirana. Something like an Invoker could be a way you could go. This makes it a little bit riskier for the Magnus, and you can't like lane switch it either. The Darkseer is just gonna like crap all over the Magnus with his Iron Shells. Juggernaut survives him just because the Juggernaut's so quick at bringing down the Iron Shell later on, but in the early stages he's got his Healing Ward, so the regeneration's good from that, plus he's got Wyvern. Nyx Assassin, that works. It's kind of the stun we're looking for, it's kind of like the lane presence we're looking for as well. So I'm perfectly alright with this. It's BZZ though on the Nyx. Interesting. Very interesting. We'll see if it stays that way. Yeah, the lane should still be fairly straightforward. Like, the Nyx going mid is a possibility, and the mag to the offlane is a possibility. I don't think it's really essential, though, for them to do such a thing. Like, the Nyx and the offlane's still going to be fine. Might be worried about how much mana Animage burns off him. If Animage can get early boots, maybe close the distance and just start attacking into the Nyx that way. Might be a good way for the AM just to negate the effect of the Nyx, because he could just mana burn, or they just accept the fact that Nyx is going to mana burn him and then expend all his mana to do that. Could also be what happens. Alright, so we're just missing one of the players from F5. Another reason why we just took so long. By the way, Vega did their little logo. The ground rule rock wall thing. Depending on the map you run would depend on how good that looks. Am I actually running my autumn map? Yeah, I'm running my autumn map. I love this map. This map is so good. The map has proper moving parts. It's already pretty freaking sick. Do. Does he have a good book? He's got the okay book. Oh, is the eye moving? Nope, eye's not moving. The okay book. Sorry, Mag. Obviously, doesn't have all the res. Well, like, very holy smoke move her out. And the enemies do the same kind of thing. So the smoke's gonna break as well. Yeah, okay. So he doesn't get his ward down. In fact, neither of the teams, because they both TP'd 2 players out. So Iron Man TP'd out to make sure this mid lane doesn't have an obs ward placed right in the middle of it. And then Fen TP down to make sure the mag just couldn't... I think he just wanted to get a nice little ward down here. Gives really nice vision of anyone moving up and down this little arc. And more importantly, blocks out the camp. So it is going to be an off-lane Magnus. EMS for the Nyx, so he'll be going towards the mid and then Illidan on the safe lane. Early Mango build up for the Juggernaut. So it looks like he wants to be able to spam a little bit more freely up against the Darkseer. Expect a very mana-intensive lane. Damn, that set looks so, like... It's like that last scene in Aragon where the dragon gets armor. So that movie was crap, but Iron Man is good. Alright, here they go. Start with a fight. Slow down FNG. Gets a good crush. The runes, well, not going to be picked up yet. In fact, it's going to be Vega who get both of them. FN moved over with a skewer forward. Iron Spur is going to be the first blood. Actually committed the Fairy Fire, thinking he might survive the attack. Does not happen. So the Magnus, the offlaner, gets the first blood. Leveled up skill. He won't be too sad with that. If this was actually a mid Magnus, he might be a little bit more annoyed, because you want to have the early point up and in power. Because it just lets you farm up the lane a lot better. And this mid lane turns into a dual lane. Bench is definitely the way of Vega for this mid lane. FNG is going to be too good to zone him out, especially when he's got the vision of the high ground. This bottom lane is going to be the danger zone for Magnus. Don't take any risks. At least FN went for Blink to start with. And again, maybe FN went for Blink to start with. Lolik has to wait, skewering the AM back in range of the tower. FN, he decided to turn for a moment to think about bringing down the tower down to 100 HP, 13 HP. Lolik actually had a small chance to go for another hit, but I think he knew he was also going to risk his life if he did it. So both sides are going to have to commit a salve if FN actually even had one. He doesn't. So Magnus will be feeling a lot more confident coming close to try and build up on that shockwave. A little bit too deep underneath the towers from these teams. Be careful to take the aggro. FNG very good to avoid that, in fact. And then a defensive tri lane for F5. Iron shells are always a bitch, but the Darkseid's only got 3 CS. This is where the Juggernaut's actually quite good against the up against the Darkseid. Kind of want to. Lolik, what are you doing? Kind of want to see what skill build he goes for. Like the early put up in Blade Dance, I'm always like a bit of a fan of. Like it's a low chance, but as he builds up more and more damage, it's really effective for quickly getting rid of an Iron Shell, and then you can just fall back and let the Healing Ward do its work. So you don't have the Healing Ward pushing out the lane either. Aerith? Yeah, if Moon's free, man. I'm very happy to have him come and join me. Might see if I can set him up for a couple of games tomorrow. That's gonna be my job tonight. We do still have another series after this, of course. So if you are thinking of turning the stream off directly after Vega versus F5, do not do so. 2 more American games, as well as 1 European game come up tonight. FNG... Oh, y'all's only got Ignite. BCC's going to go for the Sun over on the Mirana. Mirana still short of her bottle money. Like 2 minutes in and having that extra support. There ain't nothing on that courier. BCC's having a pretty damn good time for the CS. Rotation of FNG down the bottom lane, so Lolik. Oh, kind of doesn't want to get glimpsed, and I think that's what he's worried about. So there goes your first stun. He's got no other choice now. The glimpse, perfect. He actually got mana burned out for most of it. No, the wall! No. Lolik is not getting out of this one. He's going to go into the trees. He doesn't have mana. Oh, he cuts through the tree line. The cross should be there. FNG's looking the wrong way, but FN will jump in closer. Takes a lot of damage from the tower. So it costs a lot of life. The time of the rotation of FNG. A little bit of mana as well. There's a lot of payoff if FN can get some good times to farm up that Battle Fury. That's the first death of Lolik. I just want to point that one out. That's his first death considering how aggressive he has been in this lane. And now he soaks up all the experience because he just obviously dies and TP straight back again. So I like F5's going to be very happy with the way that offlane's going. Mid lane looks pretty even. Y'all's being a bit of a pest. Pushing the Darkseid out. Darkseid is trying to stay close enough he can actually get experience points. Because he has enough to escape now from that top lane. You needed a 0-2-2. And then have your Iron Shell up, and now Mag will be pretty much right as rain. You can also get the early ring up. I'm only just talking like the basic ring, just the stuff to go into the headdress. Because the mech will be his primary build, but it's a stopgap measure to make up for the amount of life you lose with the Soul Ring. The rest of your base regeneration will take care of the rest. There's too many rests. 4-minute rune, only going to be a bounty. And BTZ gets an illusion, so no real big action rune. Fresh obs and sentry being planted around the mid, so Iceberg can feel a little bit more confident to move over the river. Especially as this thing is about to time out. Lolik. Bye. It would have been a very unlucky thing for Vega if that Sata decided to open up and blast. This time a lot better. And he's going to get more and more punished as Seema gets more points up in the glimpse. How to react to that? Easier to react to just the level 1 glimpse. The level 2 range is just so good. So here goes FNG. So it's the same thing as we've seen before. They just try and charge in, and y'all that armor won't protect him from this. It's actually a really good arrow from Iceberg to make sure he stays exactly where he is. And FNG's on the hunt once again.
Radiant's
Just
top
runs into
tower is under
BZZ.
attack.
More of an intimidation thing. This allows Iceberg to head back. He's going to have to use all 3 bottle charges. Still another 55 seconds until he's got that, until he's got a rune to grab. So maybe not. Yeah, he doesn't hold on to it. He'll do another run. Illidan's farm still looking fantastic. He's got a choice as well if he wants to go for early fighting combat build for the Juggernaut. Or if he wishes to go for the farm intensive one. Like building into a Battle Fury definitely makes a lot of he has the empower from Lolik. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having both, but if he's looking for the cleave to work with the Magnus RP, that's going to happen. Damn that range. A level 3 glimpse now. It's Yol who gets dragged in. He is fairly tanky, that's why Seema's trying to body block him up, so there's more time for FN to attack him. With the Iron Shell burn damage, yep, Yol dies under the tower. Giving the kill to the Darkseer, also quite a good thing. Because it's helping Mag build into... Actually, does he go? Okay, he's going to go all the way home. Yeah, he's going to go straight into the mech. Becomes really expensive for a Darkseer, even with a Soul Ring. Primarily just because you just don't have the mana pool to trigger off mech as well as spam your abilities beforehand. The Soul Ring kind of like makes up for a lot of it, but it's just nice sometimes having those arcane boots too. But if he can finish up, like he finishes up the headdress, and then he can go back into the arcanes. You do want to try and get that mech up, so you only do that if you know you're going to get a lot of space. Dark Creepware is dying pretty quickly here, that's why already Iron Man and Yol are backing out. Benji's in the neighborhood, so he potentially could cause issues.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But no one else from Vega is in the right spot for this.
Are fortified.
BZZ is waiting for the right time in mid. He walks away, the observer ward's up on the hillside, so if Vega want to, see him and get a really good glimpse as BZZ tries to walk out. Here comes your glimpse, straight into a wall. And, well, we could see this one coming, but because F5 didn't have the proper wards up, they couldn't see it coming themselves. They just charge in. The wall is up. BZZ is away, however.
Radiant's
Power of
top
that
tower has
vendetta.
fallen.
Mid with a proper escape mechanism, but only once he hits level 6. And BZZ rotates over. He's got support, but only if he hits that stun. That would have been a kill, but now he's short of mana. Teamer doesn't have a lot of life to try and stick around and fight this one, but that's why the arrow flies. Iceberg can leap and Starfall. There shouldn't be a Spy Carapace, but the Fairy Fire, he gets hit by the second bolt of stars. Oh, and Nyx Assassin will drop. Thought he was away. And Vega now 5-1 on the board. Still holding an advantage commandingly for the experience.
Dire's bottom
Not so much for the
tower
gold,
is
just
under
because
attack.
F5 were able to bring down that top tier 1 tower. But this will change once Anti-Mage completes up his Battle Fury. Decided to actually complete up Trez, not going just straight for the raw Battle Fury. Maybe feeling there's a fight coming his way sometime soon. Trez are also not that shabby. Moving in between the camps. It's a simple switch and you can just keep running on never-ending mana. Upside for Vega. The fact that Lolik still is a way off having that Blink Dagger. Until that's up, it's BZZ who has to make the plays. But he uses Vendetta defensively. Not aggressively, so they have to wait for that too. And then Illidan. He can actually be pretty aggressive with his movement speed. Just phase boot, run in there and go into Omnislash if you find somebody out. But you're still committing smoke and you still need to get the Magnus somewhere near his position first. Really great quick ulti. Winter Wyvern, there's no way to react to that. And Anti-Mage is always just a blink away to attack in. Very happy to have Treads. Already just a basic broadsword. And pop that damage bit by bit by bit. BZZ's waiting for some extra help. Potentially he could snipe the courier. It's got a point booster on it, so yep. Snipe the courier. Oh wait, no, the point booster delivered.
Is under attack.
That courier looked like it had some way to go. And because he used his stun so quickly, just a very smart move by Iceberg. TP's out, realizing there's no more disables available. And now Seema trying to keep Lolik away from him.
Radiant's middle tower
Looking out
is
towards
under
those
attack.
ancients. The Illidan's first rotation. Fury took out the tower on the top, so the wave's pushing in. So FNG, as well as Ogre, seems to be a mutual agreement. They both get to farm up as much as they want to. Fire capture from BZZ, missed the attempt. He was actually too far out, so he didn't get hit by Iceberg Starfall. Glimpse back in again. Where is that detection? There's no sentry walls. You're going for a glimpse with no dust. It's hide inside of Vendetta. The stun again missing from BZZ.
Bottom tower is under attack.
It's nothing against BZZ. That Impale is a pain in the butt to hit. I think the most appropriate story whenever a moment like that happens is talking about how Nick Assassin was actually pulled out of the meta. Just because the cast time of that Impale was increased so heavily that no team wanted to pick him. It was a nothing hero.
Has fallen.
The only way you could hit that Impale by having a hero stand still for like 0.05, like or 0.5 of a second, and you throw it out while you're still inside of Vendetta point blank range. Actually, kind of stupid. But if you have low movement speed heroes or heroes who are stunned up, obviously a lot easier to hit. And that's what this is going to be for, the RP. Everyone grouped up together, and it's still a line AoE stun. Iceberg and Seema is going to move over. Observer Ward will allow them to glimpse RMN back down again, which they're going to use straight into the ulti. So Winter Wyvern, there's an RP on the back line. That seems to have been committed to kill off the Disruptor. Mirana has lead, so she'll just go pop down to the river. BZZ waiting, hits the stun. Caught the Mirana in turn, and now there's going to be even a regeneration rune to both Bottle and Trigger. Straight away, nope, he's going to hold it. Yeah, he doesn't need to, he's still got his arcane boots.
Under attack. Radiant's bottom
Yol's the
tower
solo
is under
defender of the
attack.
top lane. It looks like FNG wants to team out with FN and just bring him down. No escape for an Ogre. You amplify him up, so FN, yeah, that's a lot of TP support coming in. They actually cancelled one of them. Juggernaut's still creep skipping, so it's just a pull out, re-entry again.
Tower is under attack.
FNG does have Fist unavailable, lets the Crush go. You can Mana Void to ensure the kill for Yol can do anything, which is exactly what he does, and the Winter's Curse. FNG's far enough away, that Curse has almost no effect, and with RMN... Oh, okay, FNG needed to hit that stun. The blink over, FN wants to start his TP, RMN's going to come crashing down to Earth. It's FNG who's the man who's in trouble. Left alone by his enemy, sprints back off cooldown. Buys dust, and then, okay, sprints into the very small crevice of a tree line. BZZ won't find him there. 13-minute Battle Fury with PMS as well as Treads. FN will be satisfied with that. These two cores are going to have a very interesting battle. How long can they actually keep their farm war going? BZZ can cause a couple of problems. They're going to smoke up now Vega. BZZ already scouted out 3 of the heroes moving, however. Over in Sentry, they know BZZ is there. Seema starts off with a glimpse, has to work out where he's going to go to. He gets the wall up in time. With Amplification and the arrow connecting, this Nyx Assassin can't spike Carapace out of it. Already on cooldown. But this looks like to be a move from F5's, from Vega, so F5 are very smart to do this right now. They're flash farming Illidan with the Ancients. FNG. Oh, Omni Slash. Level 2. Wait, what? The RP. Blowing on the hill. He had his Blink Dagger. He picked up his Blink Dagger.
Is under attack.
But wait, hang on. Did he? I think he accidentally clicked his infused raindrops. No, no, what? No. Yeah, that's click something else. Either way, that was a screw up. Illidan being stalked. And would love to do something about this. Problem is, Iceberg, okay, he's going to bottle up now. Arrows off cooldown in 1 second time, so we can try and go for the line hit. Illidan spins away. And in fact, now the rest of F5 come over. The blink skewer doesn't work perfectly. Slaughter caught out. Does have the crush. That's why they're keeping their distance from him at the moment. Won't get it off anyway. The disable was more than enough to last. I'd like to give a shout out to Moon Meander for the biggest bullshit of Twitch chat tonight. You should come and cast, man, unless that's not in agreement with DC. Ben can't get out of this one. Perfect storm, perfect control. Still not perfect enough to stop F5 from just beating him apart with their blades. But that's important. That's now keeping the Animage down. Got the Battle Fury and hasn't really gained any money since he picked it up, as opposed to Illidan, who's now got 3 kills and 130 CS. Went for a Mana Star nice and early on, so they can't even keep the amplification on him. And a smoke maneuver time now from the Winter Wyvern. He's going to put a ward up on the hill. Probably considering, do they just try and take this tier 2 tower at the moment?
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Could just turn into a tower trade-off. The tier 1 tower is dropping on bottom. The fact that this is also taking damage is going to flag to Vega. The fact that F5 are rotating around. This is bait. TPs are on their way. Mag's in the neighborhood. Breaks the smoke over on Lolik. They know that Mag is in the neighborhood. And that's why they blink. Straight up RP, BDZ. Easy guaranteed hit. Once again, Darkseer is on the receiving end of a solo reverse polarity. Iceberg with his DD just wants to finish up the tower. Doesn't have a leap though, so he's got 2 seconds, 1 second. They can break for the trees, then leap over. Lolik will be here, so the leap, straight to TP. Skewer up, cancelled. Iceberg's gonna have to do this the hard way. Spend some of his money. Get close towards that Aghanim Scepter. He's got 1300 on him, there we go, there's the money being spent. He was 100% dead. But F5 also brought 100% of their team down to that bottom lane to ensure his death, which gives space now for FN. Push the top lane. And no one's coming to defend this. See Seema on the run. BZZ's trying to chase up after him. But he also had Detection Observer, and Sentry was the mission of Seema. Miracle is never going to live that down, is he? Okay, Illidan. Oh no! Oh, that's so unlucky. Push the issue just as the creep wave was on the way in. The movement speed from FNG just got him back in range of the creep wave just in time to make it work. It's pretty close no matter how you look at it. F5 have a lot to work with. They've got all their initiation up and running. Looks like even Ogre Majai is looking to get an Aghanim Scepter up and running, so more disable coming their way. While Vega, Lincoln Mech over on the Darkseer, kind of wish he had the Arcanes, but apart from that I'm okay with it. The Battle Fury, Yasha, Animage is falling a little bit behind where he would like to be, but it's still not that bad a thing. The Aghanim Scepter is a little late here for the Mirana. I think most of that is, yeah, okay, maybe not that late, coming out in the courier at the moment. Disruptor is our Sacrificial Lamb, and FNG still short of his Blink Dagger. 18 minutes in, but that's also because he was... Sometimes it pays off, and sometimes it definitely does not. AKA very, very easy for FNG to get caught out.
Dire's middle tower has been denied.
But if he gets his openings, if he doesn't die too much, that Blink Dagger comes a lot earlier. And Vega have a lot more to work with. Till that point, they're burning Moonlight Shadow to getting close. Illidan's farming up on the right. Dire uses the scan, and would you believe it? FNG walked into it. They're pinging out, but Vega are already on the way out of here, so F5 might be thinking that Vega is moving over towards their ancient area. The only ward in this area does belong to Vega. So F5 have no idea what's happening in this region. I get a little bit more of an idea. There you go, FNG's finally got his Blink Dagger up. You get more of an idea when heroes walk past this Dire Observer ward. Something you look to D-ward out, you actually see where the 2 sentries are now. You look for the lane ward, you look for that other little ward that normally sits around here or up here, because it watches up in the nice little angle points. Or just look for the hill wards. This ward works really nicely though from F5. Always able to scout any kind of movement. Obviously that courier is going to run that line almost every single time he goes to the secret shop, unless they want to be really over defensive. If they want to attack into the tier 2 tower on top lane, they've got information for it. Even now, like you managed to slip yourself over and get an observer ward inside the Vega base. So F5 are fully aware that no one from Vega is preparing to defend. Because any kind of TPs are not all going to come on top of the tier 2 tower. They come to the tier 3s. So they know they can just go for a race. It's just really, really good warning out from RMN. And Vega are not ready to defend. They're still trying to deal with the tier 2 tower. They don't have the money for the Anti-Mage Mana style yet. But Illidan will beat this tower down, and Vega are not back yet. You bloodlust him up, you empower him up, you just give every buff you possibly can to a Juggernaut. A Blink Crush. RP catches both of them! They're both together with a full shot from the Impulse, combining over the Omni Slash. It's a quick double kill for Illidan. And this is the danger zone! Barter down for 30 seconds. You can glimpse Illidan all you want, but yep, he just does that. And now they actually get the curse over on the Anti-Mage. The follow-up done from BZZ. The wall, as well as Storm, not doing its work. He thought they're going to come in closer, but instead F5 are playing this fight from range. Remember what they're here for. They came for the ranks. 12 seconds till FNG is back up again. You have no Storm, there's no Moonlight Chariot, there's no Darkseer Wall because it's currently up and they're able to deal with that positioning. Take the range racks, 21 minutes in and F5 will pull back. Their RP is down, there's no reason for them to take the risk. They did still lose that tier 2 tower on the top lane. For what they traded off, including the buyback that came out from a Mirana. Like your Mirana just bought back. Saves the melee racks maybe. Didn't save the range ranks, and F5 can now set up once the RP's back up again, over towards Roshan. They may even do it before then. But it might just be nicer to have that security. Blink, Crush, misses Illidan. The arrow also hits one of his illusions. He dodges. The Manta timing is just too good. Illidan, quality. Absolute quality. You can starfall yourself through this one, but then the glimpse, the damage, Iceberg leaps away. Get just enough space with the glimpse. Illidan can't finish the job. But he still just survived a 3-man gank and killed off the Slaughter, who was the one to initiate.
Don't mind if I do.
Iron Man back on the move. A lot of heroes coming his way. Actually, they're gonna glimpse him all the way back over again. By Iron Man. Kind of sad for him. Like it didn't have the greatest vision whatsoever there, but still a kill's a kill. Blink Dagger now over on BZZ. It really feels like he needs to be more of an aggressor as well. I would have been fine for him being the Aghanims kind of scepter thing we saw from Vega in the last game. Was able to enable the front liner. Illidan is obviously not really that. With the Skadi, he's a lot tankier. The fact he's got so many items, both Manta and the Skadi this early on, definitely helping his cause. And he's got 24 armor thanks to all the extra agility he's got. So on that front, maybe he could be the tank, but he's not on the same level as what we saw from the Morphling. That was ridiculous. But the Nyx became a great enabler. And this game, it kind of feels like BZZ is like, he'll be that in the future. He is still running ahead of Midas on a Nyx Assassin. So he'll get his big items up. Iron starting his TP. Benji will be too late. Have an observer ward on the hillside, so Vega are very aware of what's coming their way. But will probably also be very aware that F5 is doing Roshan. No one pushing out that top lane, no one pushing out the mid lane. Juggernaut can stop getting hit by Roshan. Finally get Roshan down. Would have been nicer if Yol got the last hit, a little of extra cash, push him closer towards that Aghanim Scepter. I think the Juggernaut really needs the extra money at this point of the game. Loop around, looking for the anti-mage. He already blinks out. Sees Illidan close. FNG still not making a push for that top lane.
Dire's top tower
Like,
is
FN
under
is just
attack.
leaving completely.
Radiant's middle tower
Iceberg, the
is
man
under
on the defense
attack.
job, pushes in the top lane with just a double starfall. You can still send another hero to go in through the top, and I think that's the plan from Vega. They want to turn this into a game of trades.
Dire's
No
top
fortification, no fortification. This one's a lot closer though, only 6 seconds. So yeah, FN starts this up. No TPs on the way in. Fortification is only just going to come off cooldown now. Leaves the illusions and the creep wave hitting into it. With the Darkseer Iron Shell, it actually took out a lot of the dire creep wave that was there too. So the next wave from Vega is going to push in nicely, but all of F5 has retreated. They took the tier 2 tower in the mid, they're not going to take any more risks. While FN's becoming a little bit more combat ready. With the money flowing his way, he can complete up a BKB. What else have we got? You still got the triple blink daggers. So Vega still have really good jumps themselves. Same level as F5, like F5 are also running around with their triple blink daggers. And they continue to sustain through both Arcane Boots and then the Cold Embrace, so you can have a lot of mana coming in to give the life back. Nice time for an Aghanim Scepter and an Ogre. He's coming in, what do we got? Solo Curse over on the Slaughter. If there's any real save here. FNG just wants to keep running out. There's no Moonlight Shadow to protect him. FNG will just get the stun and just sacrifice himself. Or as if he has to. If you could avoid the damage for a while, maybe he could have blinked out. That's the reason why he triggered his magic stick charges. Magic wand. The Iceberg's being a pest. Creep wave interception. Notice that top lane is just like, it just needs a little bit of a push forward. And that tier 3 tower will come under attack, and FN does the same thing on the bottom lane. Creep skip it out. So if F5 want to go in through this mid, they have to rely on the raw pressure that is Illidan. Without FNG, there's no amplification, there's no quick stun. They just, okay. Seema, get in there! The level 3 Omnislash, I know, but he needed to tank it for his teammate.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Maybe he's just like, you know what, the Darkseer's got buyback. I don't. Team fight control is a little bit more important. The wall tries to slow down a little bit. Enemy is still going to take out that bottom tower. Yol's out of mana, which is an upside, but it also doesn't really matter with Unrefined Blast. Percentage of his mana. So he'll always be able to trigger that. No matter how much anti-mage burns off him. With the level 3 mana void, he doesn't have that much of a mana pool, so it's not that much damage. So what did F5 get? Damage on the melee racks. This is going to regenerate before they're going to push in again. And Iceberg in 5 seconds is going to move to that top lane anyway and just like take it out. Actually, is he? Oh, he's moving to the mid. Okay. It's the easiest way for a Marauder to farm and just be in general a giant dick. There's no way F5 could really like stop him unless Nyx Assassin's going to commit to moving around trying to track him down, but F5 have another objective in their minds. It's taking racks. Like right now they've still only taken a range racks. That's not enough to say, hey boys, we got a lane momentum advantage. That's not the way that works. This is Butterfly? Yep. Okay. Still a lot of magical burst damage. And FN might be really happy he hasn't bought anything else of that Basher. Might have also been a reason why he did what he did. Burn the mana. Poker's already down a half-life. FNG is waiting for another hit. Doesn't have the mana for it, however. The mana void will do its work.
Dire's top tower
The curse comes up a little bit too late. Mag runs in range. I don't know if he was actually trying to hit him or not. He's got the Greaves available. Gives FNG that mana back so he's able to go for the stun. Very good creative wards out from Vega. They did this in game 1, they're doing it again in game number 2. So even with the gem purchase, you have to be in your flight mode for the Wyvern in order to see where these wards are. Yeah, but the fact that the FN got the Javelin, it might have been because it was the most expensive item for the Basher that he wants to have.
Dire's top tower is falling.
No fortification, F5 have to come back quicker. And smart move to move the illusions to the raging tracks. Damage which will actually like hold. Okay, he is doing this. Did he not? Maybe he hasn't seen the butterfly yet, or maybe he just doesn't care. Relies on the storm power of Disruptor to do more of the work, for the control, and then the burst damage to come in from the Mirana. Will definitely help out Mirana if she can soak it up. She's already got a Ghost Scepter. Probably see mass Ghost Scepters on their way. The Fusel Blade was already picked up from Illidan, so the Ghost Scepter, like E-Blade proccing yourself is not going to help as much. On the bright side, he's running out of charges on it. Well, on the other bright side, he just buys the second blade.
Middle tower is under attack.
And F5, they're too cautious. They keep looking behind themselves all the time.
I'll spoil that shot.
You could look to go high ground, but they're too worried what they're going to lose off in trade. Getting moments like this, like the only pickoff they keep getting is FNG. FNG just being so aggressive on the front line. Moonlight Shadow won't protect him. That was very optimistic from Iceberg.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But they keep having their creep waves skipped out. The Anti-Mage continues to push up the side lane. This is so bloody good though for the Anti-Mage as well as the Mirana. You're getting non-stop farm on these heroes in lanes where there's no pressure. The only pressure which arrives is the counter pressure to push the lane back out again. F5 just must not feel confident enough to go high ground, which is also crazy when you consider just how powerful Illidan is at the moment. Can do it solo. Like, I think his biggest issue he's going to have is actually getting caught and battling himself in a Darkseer wall. And that's not a huge issue for him. Maybe their other one they're worried about is what's going to happen with this Disruptor. Like, if Disruptor does get that ulti off, you need a BKB over an Illidan, and that's something he does not have. And now it's actually Vega who are the ones initiating. Oh, the RP! Catches 3! The Storm is down, however, but Juggernaut cannot escape. The Darkseer wall was committed. Of extra versions of him, the BKB, Lolik. Damn, that's a big mammoth. Mammoth is a correct term for it. Oh, good Observer Ward. Really good Observer Ward. Curse has to be committed again from RMN, but look at this from Vega. F5 were putting their toes in the water trying to work out if they could attack into a base. Now they do it. They get a buyback out from the Juggernaut. His Omni Slash is up, but he can't even use it. Iceberg will get away. There's no damage. So all the TP's out. Successful from Vega. They do chip damage to the tier 3 tower on bottom lane. Already FNG is pushing out the top lane. And F5's inability to push high ground is really biting in the butt. Vega's split push is paying off dividends. They was a decent way ahead as far as gold went. The experience not so much because Vega were always up on the other lanes. And like split push to getting experience, while F5 you might have killed off a couple of heroes here and there. They were normally grouped up as 3 or 4 that were splitting. Now here we go again. FM pushes out the top, FNG runs support, so does Mag. Mag is rolling in the dough. Higher net worth than that of your Nyx Assassin, who is running ahead of Midas. Still hasn't completed up, so right now his real net worth, you can take it at the 2 grand off that, 2.5 grand, because he's got 2 items just sitting in his stash, not doing anything. Nice stun over on the Anti-Mage. What else are you going to commit to this one? BKB, but you're cursing up the Anti-Mage at the moment. He's not really caring too much. In fact, Mana Void spells out more damage. And FN just blinks and TPs away. Everyone's out. Back to creep wave push. An Iceberg could probably rapidly approach his Dagon. Another quick way to ensure a kill over on a Juggernaut. But only if he's down the Fusel Blade charges. Full Abyssal Blade now done for FN, so he's a little bit more difficult to kill and also has that guaranteed control. I think the sadder thing is just the fact that I haven't seen a really good follow-up after Lolik gets a good ultimate. You look for the Juggernaut, I think that actually happened once. But you look for the Juggernaut to do the big follow-up. Beyond that, there's not much more to work with. Arrows fly back, actually stuns on Winter Wyvern, who I think just DC'd. Yeah. He didn't move. The arrow was coming towards him. They 100% knew it was coming, and he just there at the top of the ramp, which would have been his last input. Bolek's still got his RP if he wants to try and commit it, so a leap down, there's your RP, does commit it. Mirana hasn't used her TP yet, so it's E-Blade to buy time to blink away! Oh, she's gonna do it! Where's the skewer? Where's the skewer? Where's something? It's already on cooldown. They won't find her. Oh. Really nicely done by Iceberg. Really nicely done. He potentially could have just said, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here. Instantly hit the TP. The second he jumped over. Leapt into the trees, waited for the initiation, let the E-Blade do its work. They weren't close enough in range to let off anything. Like, you didn't have a diffuser blade, you got no other way to get around it. They needed to do damage to it, but didn't happen. Blinks into the tree line, straight TP out, and F5 are left wanting. So again, we have ourselves a quick pause as Vega just need a minute. Okay, let's give RMN time to stabilize his internet too. Or for his internet to stabilize. I don't think there's much he'll be doing about it. Look at a router and look at the lights blink on and off. Yeah, it's stable now. Alright, so off we go again. What's this courier looking to buy? Who's got the extra? Nope, that's not the menu I want. That's the menu I want. Who's got the extra cash? 2.2k for Lolik. Interesting to actually see his choice. Potentially you could build up for more armor, just because you're going up against the Slaughter. Having that might be very useful. Same with Shivas, or AC, either way. You could also see his ultimate as being one of the other big things, but then do you really want to go straight into like a double RP, a refresher ult? Because that's going to leave him fairly weak, which is where I think maybe the armor alternative is a better choice. Because he's not getting that from the Juggernaut, unless the Juggernaut's going to start dropping other major things. But he kind of needs lockdown. Fuser Blade is wonderful, but I think he needs his own Abyssal Blade. So initiation coming from better for FNG now with the Shadow Blades. We've got a way to jump in and get back out again. Iceberg. Falls down the wave. RMN is now actually planning down Tinkerwards to try and catch out Iceberg's little shenanigans. Unless Iceberg's gonna... Okay, no, we saw the TP. The rest of Vega moving down at the bottom, but they're surrounded. RP in 2 seconds. Seema puts up the ball, tries to juke him inside the fog of war, glimpsing back Lolik, but Seema knows he's dead. Stuns Orion from the Nyx Assassin. But while Iceberg continues to do this, I don't think they cared that much. Support needs to get there. This curse, it won't last long enough. He's got to leap up. Yol, however, with the multicast, let everything go with the follow-up stun. That's nice. That's very nice for F5. Good picks. What does it end up doing? Okay, you disrupted DCs from the game. You've got FN again pushing into the top lane. You're going to be assaulted on your axe, so you can't push down the lane. So there's 80 seconds without a Mirana on the field. Maybe they can deal with the top lane. Send one hero there that could BT down. Probably one of the primary reasons why Illidan is carrying those BTs. But Illidan's already on bottom lane, so he... I suppose his Manta will mop up this creep wave quite nicely. He'll defend the top. But he just BT'd up, so now that's 40 seconds before he can come and join the rest of them. They damage the cleave. FNG was dying pretty quickly from that FN. Want to let it rip, blinks away just before the RP gets cast. And Lolik very wisely pulls out of it mid-animation. But Vega make a break for the tree lines. And they force heavy rotations up from F5. So again, these kills of F5 count for very little as far as like map objectives. Always love an Ogre when he can complete up an Aghanim Scepter. Probably love him more if he was here to help out. Great Great crush, FNG! His timing then was absolutely stupendous. And no, word! It was fucking brilliant. That's what it was. Ilden does have his Omni Slash, FN. Wait, can they see him on the hill? No, they can't. He blinks over and away. FNG still has his own blink and ability to make his jump, but they've got the gem. Like, they actually have the gem. So Ilden comes in, gets a first hit bash over on FN. FNG saw the next assassin leaving. Ilden will also be able to escape. So they don't kill off the anti-mage, who is now going to start healing. Yeah, he triggered his BKB, probably another reason to why FN didn't want to continue the engagement. And Iceberg's back up and healthy again. Another 3,500 gold. Really waiting to see if he gets the Dagon. He's got the money for it. Might want to be a little bit careful though with the buyback money. He's only got 2k surplus.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He actually doesn't have enough to finish the whole thing. But he could go for something bigger. I don't know what's really going to be bigger when magical damage is the primary thing he's focusing on. Does F5 even have a gem at the moment? No. They have Dust over on Lolik. Animage is now complete at the full MKB, so that Butterfly of the Juggernaut no longer anywhere near as effective. And that big advantage which F5 had is all disappearing now. They really need one hell of a dream fight and a quick push down mid. Okay, that's all they could really do. Look how scared Illidan is too. Spinning up. Oh, fight Seema. Oh! Needed the bash. Hit one hit. Took 3/4 of Seema's life off with one slice. So nice. Maybe it's time to actually buy up that Abyssal Blade. And FNG is on it again. Loop around the back, under the cover of his Shadow Blade. Trying to find an opening he can get close enough to. The Dire... Whoops, wrong menu. Yeah, Dire side most definitely saw him. Start with a curse, so we're on Slada, remember. But they're looking to get that gem back. Is there support? Mag? Potentially he could. But it looks like he knows that FNG's okay. Plus, if they can cancel TPs off, this may be a lot more doable. Illidan, Omni Slash, the Manta and the Creep Wave soak it all up. Down for 106 seconds. This is a big opportunity, in fact, for Vega. That Juggernaut Omni Slash is still a huge amount of the damage. BZZ misses his stun. Started with Mana Burn instead, in fact. But you do have an Aegis the Immortal now over on Lolik. Juggernaut just doesn't have the item slots for it. Fair enough.
Dire's middle tower.
You have the Magnus, which maybe bait out an engagement early on if he doesn't hit the perfect RP. Don't know if he was really the perfect person to give it to. Like right now, I kind of feel like after that RP blow, Ogre is going to do more work for him. It's kind of stupid to say, but when he's got that Aghanim Scepter and doesn't care about Mana Burn, it is a dream scenario for an Ogre. He just needs to have a little bit more regeneration on him. This is a real issue. This FN anyway cannot be allowed to continue in the manner he is. Keep buys a Moonshot, they'll make up for the attack speed he'll miss out once he gets his BTs up. Then it's a straight split push kind of thing. So maybe F5 realized this. Oh, shit. FNG wanders into the middle of F5. Hey boys, blink away. They don't see him because they don't know it was the gem. Gem was too far back. Yeah, Iron Man was doing dewarding. Got himself cliffed.
Radiant structures are fortified.
So Illidan's had enough. He's pushing in through the mid. The creep waves from the side lanes are far enough away that he's going to be able to achieve this. And Vega, finally, F5, after what has been almost an eternity, managed to claim a full lane of racks.
Tower is under attack.
Seema is the only one left on this bottom lane. The Animage already left. Illidan will come back and defend. Vision has to curse. Wait, oh, he didn't have it. He was so close yet so far away. And RMN, but he... who did he give the gem? He gave the gem over to Yol. If he actually had the gem with me, we would have seen the fresh observer ward that was planted down. All the support that came over from F5 got scattered out by Vega, who will now smoke and try and find their own opportunity. This is on the Darkseer, who I'm actually surprised at the back of the line, and maybe is surging forward. FNG can be your primary initiator, but only on an individual target, like that. X, pop them, Abyssal Blade, there's the curse though! RMN, the timing is right, the Juggernaut can be cold embraced, they back it back a little bit closer, but that's why FN jumps to the other side. The RP, it's good, but where's your follow-up? The Omnisage is being soaked up by Darkseer Illusions and ended on Darkseer Illusion. Now Illidan has spit himself away. They have to keep up with him, Vega. Illidan must die if they're going to win this fight, or else Illidan's going to turn it, which is exactly what he's doing, right through Iceberg. F5 still with the numbers. BDZ go into the burrow. He tried to panically throw out his stun. Seema will still die, even with the glimpse back of the Nyx Assassin. He couldn't create enough space for him. But this will be mass buybacks out from Vega. They've lost too much of their base at the moment. So Slaughter buyback, Mirana buyback, a good arrow. Oh, he still got hit by it! 5 seconds on the stun, he tried to man and dodge it. They push him up with a 4-star, but now the Abyssal Blade will go to work. No matter on the Juggernaut, as, oh, maybe it won't matter. Animage has to buy back. The money expended, the melee ranks will still fall. Vega needs some extra kills, and FNG is looking to oblige, but they see him. It's the gem over on Yol. They'll disarm him, they'll hold him in position with the E-Blade, and then just 3 swings from FN. He'll end Ogre Majai.
Unto death.
Vega.
I'll take that as tribute.
So many buybacks. There's no Roshan. Illidan TPing out inside that pit. Blink up. Where's that arrow gonna fly? It's a stray. EZZ has the distance. FN is still on the hunt. He's got a Abyssal Blade, so he lets it go. He'll have to take the stun. Could have triggered BKB before that. The crush is there. They get the amplification off. No Nyx Assassin. RMN actually tried to cold embrace him. Actually cold embrace himself. Skewer back. RP still not available for the moment. Arrows fly astray. Your curse is up as Iceberg. No physical damage really, so he's still killing off FNG, but Illidan and Max be quite happy to do that for them. As there's the gems drop side by side, just like peas and carrots. Nyx will buy back. They want to end this. They know the Mirana and Slaughter cannot come back to life again. They do lose the Aegis, however, but it's only on a Magnus. You don't really care too much about that. As FN trying to skip the creep wave out with his Mantra Illusions. Slow this push down. But if that bottom lane can enter, it won't really matter. They're coming for tier 4 towers. If F5 wanted anything else, they would be pushing out the top lane right now and going for the tier 2s, but they got a 1-minute opportunity to try and just take the throne of Vega.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, he's got so much money, he can also just, he should be able to, yeah. He can just buy back and TP back into this, so you got double Illidan, the perfect stun, the Storm is there, the RP committed as well, but the Animage is down. That should be the game with a skewer back, catching out Mag as well as Seema, pulling back into the fight. Again, not the greatest Omni Slash I've ever seen, but they're finding the pick-off after pick-off. FNG will come back up, but with none of the primary cores up, the damage-dealing cores. All F5 need to do is beat through the tier 4 towers, take the fortress, and we will be going to a third deciding game between Vega and F5. Who will battle up against the Danes tomorrow? That is the question to be asked. And goodbye Slaughter, he is down. So GG. Quality performance. And it looks like Moon's actually going to jump in. So Moon's going to join me for the final game. So I'll set him up for all of that. So we'll have ourselves a quick break and we'll see you back here for the third game.